Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Manny here once again. Welcome back to another episode of DFS Zone, your source for daily fantasy sport lineup advice for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. And before I continue on with the video, like always guys, I appreciate liking the video. And if you've never seen any of my videos before and you have not yet subscribed, right on the right hand corner of your screen, right here on this video, there's the subscribe button there. Just click on that, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget also to turn on those notifications. This way you will not miss any of my new uploads. With that being said, today is Wednesday, May the 2nd, 2018. There's only one game on the slate today, and before I go over the slate, last night I played a couple of lineups. As you can see here on the screen, I did the 100K like I usually do. Last night was a close one. It was a little bit of a nail biter. I knew I was getting close. Didn't quite get there. I finished in 282nd place, as you can see here on the left hand of the screen, 282nd out of 60,000. And that's a great placing. Any other time, 373 will smash down and nail down a GPP. It didn't do that last night because obviously a lot of guys went off last night. I'm very happy with this lineup. I love the results. Just unfortunately, I was 20 points, exactly 20 points from first place and being on a first place tie. As you can see here, there's 6 people that split 30 grand. So I was pretty much 20 points away, one player away from actually winning 30K. I've gotten close so many times this year. I mean, you know, it's a little disappointing, but at the same time, hey, you know what? It's DFS. I like the results. I won $33. I pretty much won my money back because I made 3 or 4 lineups, but nonetheless, that was a great score, so I wanted to share that with you guys. I will always do that. If I have an enormous score, I come close to the big one, I'm going to definitely share. I have my share of winnings. I do have that on my IG. You can be able to check there. In my Instagram account, I've actually put up photos of actual decent wins. But this would have been nice. 30K, yeah, I would not be disappointed whatsoever to split that with anybody. You know, I mean, 100K, it was going to be tough last night to win the 100K as this was winding down. But great games overall. Looking here, just to go over it real quickly, I mean, we're balanced out pretty much everywhere. We had a number of the same players. He had Rondo, I had Rondo. We both had Holiday, we both had J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith was fantastic last night. What a game by Cleveland to come back on Toronto. As much as I want to see them just be eliminated, it's not. I don't know. They're just going to keep battling. It should be an interesting series at this point if they took Game 1. LeBron James, we didn't have both LeBron. He had LeBron. I had Durant. I did have LeBron in some other lineups, and you know, he had a fantastic game as well. We both had Draymond Green, and we both had Tristan Thompson. The difference here was I had Marichek, who put up 36. He had Green, who put up 30. And then the difference also is I had OG. He gave me my least amount of fantasy points, 12. I expected more from him. And he had Iguodala, who put up a nice number. I didn't even think Iguodala would play as much as he did last night, but he did, and he was fantastic. So that was pretty much the difference, other than James being about 6 or 7 fantasy points more that he produced over Durant in the small forward spot. But overall, I mean, that was basically it. And I had Curry while he had Lowry. So Curry was good. He was 42 while Lowry was 35. The difference was James with the 6 or 7, and then obviously me with the OG. He killed me there. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. But I wanted to share that with you guys. I mean, very close. You know, hey, back to the drawing board. You know, tonight is a 1-game slate, so we'll just go right back to that. I'm going to go right to my upcomings because I already, you know, I punch in these things early. I don't have lineups yet, but, you know, I'm going to go over that with you guys, and I'm going to actually choose a lineup with you guys today. So let me just clear this one for now, and we'll work on that. We'll get to that. All right, so we got Utah at Houston. Last game, first game of this series was not a good game by Utah. As you guys know, if you've been following me enough throughout the NBA season and the playoffs, I've been kind of rooting for Utah. But with Rubio gone, it's going to really be difficult. Like I mentioned in previous videos, it's going to be a really tough road for them against this very explosive Houston Rocket team. But nonetheless, I am still hopeful that Rubio will get back at some point. I don't believe he's going to. It says here game time decision. Keep tabs on that throughout the day. I don't think at all he's going to play today. I think he's getting close. He's feeling better. But you don't play around with hamstrings. So I believe he's going to be out at least until Game 5 if it gets to a Game 5. So I don't think he's going to be there tonight, but you never know. So just if you have Rubio in mind for this 5-player, NBA shot machine GPP, which I'm not in favor of. I know it's going to be difficult for anybody to win this, but to win 100K, there's going to be like maybe 100 people tie for first place, because there's going to be people with the same lineups. But I'm going to give it a shot, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to actually do 2 lineups right here for you, and you can take them and you can play them, and maybe we win together. And hey, just be able to just tell me down below in the comment section and let me know, hey, you know what, I like those picks, I'm going to play them tonight too. This way I know who's feeling the lineups that I'm creating. But for something like this, a 1-game slate, I don't mind sharing 2 lineups with you guys of what I'm thinking of. So we'll go over them, and then I will definitely just put some up here on the screen, and we'll play around with it for a little bit. So we'll try to make it as quick as possible, but at the same time be able to be helpful. So again, I would appreciate a like on the video, and at the same time just comment down below and let me know if you are playing any of the lineups, any of the 2 lineups that I create today here for you guys. And I would appreciate that as well. I would love to build that kind of community where we're interacting with each other, and we're actually following up and staying in touch with one another. I definitely want to build that here with this channel. So anyway, with that being said, let's move on. So I do have my fantasy cruncher like always. We look at here at the top of the thing, if you're going to go to the MVP 1.5 times points, man, I'm not going to break down any stats other than this is, it's going to be tough. We know that some guys are going to be chalky. It's about finding that 1 or 2 guys that more than likely are going to be least owned compared to others. It's tough to do this. I was looking at this and trying to break some down early this morning, and I made a couple of lineups already, but those are not for certain, because I make lineups and then I come back and I do a little bit of research, and I really just analyze everything as much as possible, and then say, hey, all right, I'm going to go with my gut. I think these 5 will be good to go. I normally don't play this thing, but I figure, hey, you know what, I want to do a video. I am home for 2 or 3 hours in between my day from work. Why not just try to do a quick video and share stuff with you guys, and then just keep this channel going, so that I can develop a good community here. All right, so with that being said, James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, Clint Capella, they're the most expensive guys here, and Rudy Gobert. Obviously there's 2 centers here, and there you got 3 guards here with 2 shooting guards and a point guard. Donovan Mitchell, as we know, he's going to be playing. I think he played the point in the first game. I think he's going to still play the point today. He's actually in a good position because best spots here overall. We know Harden is going to be Harden. He's going to be difficult. He's going to be a tough task as it is. But best spots overall, Ingles is in a good spot here, as well as Mitchell, because Houston has had their most difficult problems, or the games that they've given up the severe points. They have given up. I did my research last night. 16. I have here 16. Yeah, 16. Is it 16? Angles. No, Angles. Houston, excuse me, has allowed 11 big games to small forwards throughout the year. Not, unfortunately, not to Mr. Ingles, but you never know. It's something to definitely consider when you look at some researches. Another best spot situation today is Clint Capella, which I love Clint Capella here in this matchup with Gobert. Both guys are long. They got long wingspans. They're both very athletic. They're both decent defenders. Gobert is a better defender, probably even a better rebounder and shot blocker, but I still like Capella over Gobert. I think I went with that in game 1, and I'm going to stick with that today. If I'm going to go at center and I'm going to use any one of these centers today, it's going to be Capella. But I would not be at all telling anyone not to even consider Rudy Gobert. You could definitely consider him. I just think Capella is in a better spot, and he's in a better spot also because even though these were not all against Mr. Gobert during the course of the season, Utah has given up 16 big games, monster games, during the course of the season, 2 centers, but the majority of those were not against Rudy Gobert. He was definitely out for a long stretch, and a lot of those games came in when he was not the center. He was actually in the DL. So, obviously we know that Gobert is a decent defender. I don't think Capella's going to smash 50, 60 spot on Mr. Gobert tonight, but he is capable of putting his 30 to 35, possibly even 40, and I think he's in a better position to do that than Gobert. So if I'm thinking centers, that's what I'm thinking there. Chris Paul, point guard here with Donovan Mitchell, at least today. At least on Fanduel, they'll be just considered guards. But let's go over this MVP, 1.5 points. Right away, the first thought is, hey, just pay up and pay for Harden, right? I mean, you know, let me go here to the cruncher. If I'm looking at shooting guard and I look at Harden, obviously, you know, he's at 12. Well, we know for that particular tournament, he's 18. They're projecting to put up 40, pretty much 48. And he put up 61 in the last game. He's been at 57, 59, and 61 over the last 3 games. That's dating back to the final 2 games against Minnesota. I don't know. He is primed and good for 57 plus to me. I don't see him dropping down under 50 at all in this series. You know, they may neutralize him a little bit. He may have an off night. It's obviously something that we can't guarantee, but I can't guarantee he's going to give 50 either. But they're projecting to put close to 50 at 48 pretty much today. I think he could top 50, and I think as one of the solid plays here, Harden is a solid play. I would take the risk and pay the 18.5 for Harden and make him my MVP player here. So let's just pencil him in right now as the top guy there. I truly believe he's going to be really highly owned, you know, and rightfully so, and maybe more than likely in this spot here, the MVP, so you can gain all those extra points. It's going to be tricky from here on in, like who you're going to go with then. So then we go to guard. We got Mitchell, we got Paul, we got Gordon. Obviously, Rubio's a game-time decision. I don't believe he's going to play. You got Alec Burke at 6,500. Now you're starting to get into some savings. Burke at 6,500. We know he played a little bit in Game 1, so we're going to go here. He's in the shooting guard. Alec Burks, 20.70 fantasy points in Game 1. He played 17 minutes. He shot 2 of 9, not that great off the floor, but if he would have shot a little bit more from the floor, he probably would have got more minutes. So if he can get out early and score, you know, there's a possibility he may be out there a little bit longer. He did put up 6. He did, you know, bring down 6 defensive rebounds and 3, and he also had 3 assists. He got to the foul line, and he got, you know, he got himself 2 free throws, and he landed both of those. He buried both of those. So Alec Burks had, you know, at that price of what he has here, 6,500, it's not a bad play. And right now, I would say to create the lineup, let's just put him on there. All right. So now you got one Houston guy, one Utah guy. We go to forward center, and like I said, if I'm gonna go with a big guy, you can go. If you're gonna go with a center, I will go Capella. So let's throw Capella in there, and we're at 10,750. Now these 2 utility guys, we're definitely gonna have to find 2 guys that more than likely are not gonna be highly owned. And that's going to be the tricky part with these 5-player, you know, games. So let's see, Utah. Wow, utility. Excuse me, utility play. I'm thinking here. I don't know. Let's go back here. We got small forwards. We got O'Neal. We got Trevor Ariza and Ingles. Okay, if you want to make this all Utah or all Houston, you want to go 2 more Houston and 1 more Utah, 1 more Houston at 10,750. You got Favors at 10.5. You got Gordon at 9. Ariza at 8.5. Ariza's in a good spot here as well. You know, with Utah having their issues at times, giving up games to small forwards. Ariza, let's see what Ariza did in the last game. We know Ariza gets tons of minutes, so that's the really good upside with that, is that he gets the minutes. Is he going to be on or off? That's the problem. He's a little bit up and down. 14, 25, 16, then 24, 25, then 11. But then in the meantime, he's getting 32 plus. I mean, 32 plus, you really want to get at least 30 out of him, at least 1 point, close to 1 point, 1 fantasy point per minute. So he's definitely below that. That's something that I look at, especially this time of the year. If I can get a point a minute from him, I think it's a good play depending on his price. But this, you know, these prices are inflated in a way for this particular slate. So Ariza at 8,500 is not a bad play. It's just, will he get you over 30? That's my concern. So when I look at all these guys that are here left, Joe Ingles gives me the best option for 30, as well as Joe Crowder. And Joe Crowder is 8,500. So you know what? I like Joe Crowder. Let's put him on there. All right. Then we'll take a quick look at Mr. Crowder. And he put up a 32 spot in game 1 in 33 minutes. You see what I'm talking about? This is what I like to see. Pretty much a little bit, you know, pretty much a point per minute, fantasy point. He got 13 shots. He had 8 of 13, so he shot over 50% there. Okay, and he shot over 50% from 3-point range, and he has actually been fairly good, except the game before that he had a dud. Okay, against OKC in that win, he was horrible. As you can see, 31 minutes, shot only 2 of 10 from the floor and 1 of 5 from 3. So it was an off night for him. He only put up 5 points. But look at this, 21 points in the last game, the first game against Houston. He had 2 steals, only 2 turnovers. We preferred no turnovers. He had only 1 assist, but he had 5 rebounds, and he shot well from the floor, 8 of 13 and 5 of 7 from 3-point range. So I like him there at this price, $8,500 for this particular slate. Sure, why not? I think Joe Crowder is the best play. If I look at all these guys here, we already saw Ariza. He didn't put up the same numbers. He's at the same price. Crowder has definitely a better upside. So now we got here 2 Houston and 2 Utah. Not bad, decent balance. Now we got to figure out who's going to be this last utility guy, and we got 13 grand to do that. But that more than likely is least owned. We could go with Gobert and have 2 centers here with this particular lineup. Or we can go with Ingles at 11.5, which we know he has the potential to put up 35-40. And then we really don't got much Houston. I mean, there's better upside with the Utah Jazz players. So Ingles would not be a bad play here. It's just a matter of this lineup looks like it's going to be a lineup that 150 people may have. That's the whole problem. So let's go here to small forward. We have Ingles, and Ingles, see, 31 and 30 the last 2 games. Game 1 he put a 31 spot. He was at 6,500, 32 minutes. There you go again, almost a little bit more than a point a minute. 6 of 11 from the floor, 1 of 3 from 3-point range, which he normally is better than that. He didn't get as many shots there as you can see in the OKC series, 6, 9, 11, 10. I mean, he was definitely firing the 3. But he did all the other things too. Look at this, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. He did have 4 big turnovers in this previous first game, which is not good. 1 steal, 1 block. He doesn't foul a whole lot, so he's pretty good there. Joe Ingles is a nice play, you know. I don't see no reason why not to take him at 11.5. I know if I play around with this a little bit more, we'll be able to be able to get some more value somewhere else. But right now, Joe Ingles, and then you still got 1,500. You can improve this team by removing Burks and finding someone else. Burks is 6,500, so let's see what we got at about 8,000. You got 7,000 PJ Tucker. I think that I will still stay with Burks there. Tucker gets a lot of minutes, so that's the beauty about Tucker. He did play well in the last game. Let's take a quick peek at PJ Tucker. Yeah, 25 in game 1 in 35 minutes. You see, he plays a lot of minutes. He shot well that day. I know that. I remember it vividly. He definitely was shooting well that day. 6 of 8 and 3 of 5. He got 6 rebounds, and pretty much that's it. 1 steal. Doesn't really get into foul trouble that often. But PJ Tucker is definitely, someone to consider here at 7,000. If you wanted to get value, you can remove Burks. You can make a lineup with Burks, and then you can come back and switch it up and make a lineup now with Tucker, okay, or with O'Neal. You can move this around and then just move Crowder. Let's see Crowder out of here. Let's get O'Neal, and then I guard. We come back and we still have Burks. That's the problem. So the guard situation, the best guards here are Donovan Mitchell, Paul, Rubio, Gordon, and Burks. I wouldn't even go any lower than that. So you see, that's the tricky part. So we got Royce O'Neal. We go back to guard, and let's just throw here. Let's take Capella out. Let's stack up the Houston Rockets top 2 dogs there. All right. Then we have 8,000. We go to forward center. We can get Mr. Crowder there. Now we got 7,500. You can take Mr. Tucker there. And now you got 3 guys possibly low owned. Crowder will probably not be, maybe 40-50% owned. Then you have, if you take Tucker, he's definitely going to be low owned. And Ingles, he usually is not that highly owned. So, I mean, he's in a good spot to be low owned as well. So you can go that way too, guys. You can go with Tucker here. You got $500 left. All right, so you got another lineup there. I think that the key guy in his lineup is going to be Harden. We know he's going to be chalk, but you'd rather be there, and you'd rather get all the points you can get from the MVP spot. So let's clear this board again. Let's try guard again. let's go. We'll stay with the top dog for Utah, which should be Donovan Mitchell. All right, you know he's going to get a lot of time on the floor. You know he's going to get a lot of shots. So that's the kind of play you must have. Then you got 8,800. Now we got to definitely get a low cost player here. Either we're going to have to go all the way here and take a shot at Burks. Okay, now you come back to 10, and you got a forward center. And I don't know about Favors. I wouldn't mind at all paying for Engels. Obviously, you cannot go to Gobert because then you're going to be really taxed off, and then you got to hope to get a. Actually, the lower end here is only Gerald Green, and Gerald Green is not getting any time in this series. He got like less than a minute, and he shot 1-3, and he landed it in the closing time of that game the other day. So he's not been a factor. Ryan Anderson hasn't been a factor, but this is thing you never know. Somebody tweaks an ankle, somebody gets hurt, all of a sudden Ryan Anderson is in, Gerald Green is in, somebody gets into serious foul trouble. You just don't know. But this is GPP, guys. You know, you want to put the best possible 2 or 3 guys. My recommendation, 2 or 3 key guys that you know for a fact they're going to get a lot of touches, a lot of time on the floor, and has the upside to really put up massive fantasy points. And right now, the top one for Houston would be Harden, with obviously Chris Paul being second, and then the top dog for Utah would be Mitchell, with the second possibility there being Crowder as far as offensively, or Ingles. You know, so that's what I'm looking at with Utah. So we got to get Ingles in here somehow, or Crowder. So let's say we go with Crowder. Now we got 3 Utah Jazz, and you got 11,500 left. Is that enough to get us? Well, it'll get us enough to get us Ingles, or even Favors. I prefer Ingles over Favors because I like Crowder in that forward spot for Utah. He has more upside in Favors as far as putting up a large amount of fantasy points. So my thinking here would be Ingles, and you have a lineup. Let's say here goes another lineup. You can go with 4 Utah Jazz and that 1 Houston Rocket. A tremendous. You can go with a 4-player stack here, and that will work as well. Or keep Mitchell in there, and let's see if we can find a way to get Chris Paul in here. Okay, so hold on, let's move we'll put utility, will be Chris Paul. That's 14, that leaves us 6,200. It's just not enough. Then you're really gonna have to take a shot at a guy like Dante Exum or Mouillet. You know, maybe a Mouillet, you could go with him. I just don't know if Moutier has had any time on the floor, not a sufficient time. He did play 20 minutes, but that was garbage time. Remember, Houston was really much in control of this game 1. The game was never, you know, a game that was close enough to keep Mr. Harden on the floor and Trevor Ariza. So Moutier got some time on the floor. It's a risk, but sometimes this is how you're going to win a GPP. So you could go with Moutier. And then now you got 6,500, and you will have to get Exum or Burke. You can actually squeeze in Burks. So there you go. This is a way to get Harden, Mitchell, and Paul in there. 3 possible studs. So, well, not possible, 3 studs. And then you get 2 guys that if they could just give you 20 fantasy points or more each, it will be a tremendous lift. You know, actually looking at this really closely, man, this is not a bad lineup, guys. So whoever decides to take this lineup, let me know if you like this one. Harden, Mitchell, Moutier, Paul, and Burks. And I just did this right here, right now, during the course of this video. I don't even have this lineup aside, but you know, this is something. This is a lineup that more than likely I'll take a $7.77 gamble. Why not, if it's going to probably get me 100K? So if anybody's aboard with that, you know, please comment down below and let me know that you have decided to take that lineup. All right, so let's clear it up. Let's say we decide to not take no Harden, you know, which I just can't see nobody not taking Harden. Let's say you decided you're just going to make your top dog Paul, and then you're going to make your top forward center Capella. Alright, now you got 2 pretty good offensive players for the Rockets in this game. And now you got to find 3 more that may have or may go off to complete this roster. So we go to guard. Now we have 10,800 to play with, and we have Mitchell at 15. We can go all the way down to Gordon, or even go cheaper to Burks. Let's just throw in there Gordon. Let's just see what we have left. Now we got 11 at utility. Okay. And we know Gordon has upside too. He's capable of lighting it up at any point too. He can give you 35 or better. So he's not a bad play. Alright. He's not a bad play here for this particular GPP. He is a GPP play. He's that kind of guy, you know. Then I'm looking here at 11-7. Then you can throw in there maybe an Ingles. As we all know, Ingles is capable. Let's take a quick look at him. But I know because I follow this team. 32 minutes, 15, 6, 5, 1, 1. He did have 4 big turnovers, which hurt his overall fantasy point total. But 31.7 fantasy points, so it's pretty much almost a minute a point. Over here, he played 41 and 41 in the 2 last games against OKC. He put up 23 and 30. Those were not great performances as far as fantasy points for the amount of minutes he played. But you know, the last game, the first game against Houston, he did. And remember, I mentioned that Ingles is in that good spot because Houston has had 11 games this year where they've given up 40+ points to someone who in the small forward spot. So he's in that good position going into game 2, just like he was in game 1. He had a decent game in game 1. If he can have a more explosive game, it will help. Definitely will help in this particular GPP. Utility number, the very last utility, 12 grand. So we have 12 grand left, and really not enough room to get Rubio, who's out of commission, or even get a Gobert. So, you know, right now this doesn't work that well. Okay, let's take out Gordon again, and let's try. Go to guards. Let's try Burks again because he's cheap, and hope that he has an awesome game. Now we got 14-5, and at 14-5 now we have enough to get a Gobert or Derek Favors, not enough to get to the top and get Donovan Mitchell or something like that. So, you know, I'm not too in favor. I just don't like this lineup. The last lineup that we did was a good one. This one here, man, I just don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not quite feeling this one. But GPPs, you have to take a risk somewhere. You have to. So we have enough here for Gobert. If you leave Gobert there, that's 1,500 left over. You can upgrade somewhere else. Let's say we take that 11.5, put that together. Now we got 13. 13 will give us what? No, and then it's a shame there's no Ricky Rubio. 13 will give us not even enough. We have Gobert. Okay, how about we remove Burks and we balance this out? All right, let's go with. Let's give it a shot. Why not do Crowder with a guard? Hold on a second. 11,000. Let's take Crowder out of there. Let's get this guard out of the way. We know Crowder. Let's go to utility. In utility, we use Crowder. Okay, Joe Crowder, and then 11,000 for the guard. And we only could get Eric Gordon there. Okay, so you got to play with this a little bit, guys. I mean, I'm going to make about 5 or 6 lineups. I already showed you about 3 of them. And I was only going to do like maybe 2 lineups. But, you know, I don't mind playing around with this right in front of you guys here so you can see. There's really not much to go by here. This is just about mixing and matching and deciding if you're going to stack up with one team. You got to use both teams. You got to get at least one player from one of the teams. So you can go and stack it 4, like I showed you in that first part of the earlier in the video. We have 4 guys from Utah and the 1 Harden from Houston. You can also go 4 Houston somehow. I just don't see the 4 Houston. I would not go with 4 Houston players. I mean, me personally, I think Utah has more balance as far as the position players. That there is at least one position player in each position that is capable of having an explosive game. Whereas with Houston, you know that it's going to come from Harden, Paul, or more than likely Capella, or all 3. And I think those are their 3 major players, with Trevor Ariza being the little sneakingly 4th player. But when you go and look at Utah, you're looking at Donovan, you're looking at Rubio when he is playing. You know, you got a couple of offensive weapons, guys that can really go off. You got Gobert, you got Crowder, sometimes Favors steps up, Ingles. So they got a lot of little offensive weapons and guys that are capable of putting 30, 40 plus in any given day. Whereas with Houston, I just don't see that many guys doing that. But again, it's my opinion. I don't, nothing's guaranteed. We know any given night anything can happen. So here with 11,000 left, just try to finish this one lineup here left. Man, Capella, Crowder, Gobert. 11,000. I don't know. I mean, if you take Eric Gordon, if we can get in there somehow, Crowder, Gobert. I'd rather not have Gobert. I'd rather have Mitchell, and then just spend the 9,000 somewhere else. Now I got Capella, who I really like in this game. I get Paul, a good solid point. I get a good shooting guard in Mitchell, and then I get a good utility player who is a scorer in the 4 spot. And then my utility player is going to be whoever's going to give me the best chance to score enough points. And, I will have to go Gordon here. He meets the right number right on the nose, 9,000. So there goes another solid lineup, guys, right in front of you. If you guys decide on any one of these, just let me know. Like I said before, comment down below. Let me know, hey, Manny, I like the Paul, Mitchell, Capella, Crowder, Gordon. I'm going to play that lineup. And then I'm going to play this lineup. I like this lineup, and I like the other one that I created, the one previous to this as well. I think that's a good lineup as well. So anyway, but not a whole lot, guys. I just wanted to get out there, do a video, man. I want to keep bringing content to you guys. Again, man, I appreciate the likes. Lately, I've been getting a lot more views. I've been getting some likes. I really appreciate you guys, man. It's really, it always feels good to know that I'm making an effort to do something, and then people appreciate that. I hope some of you guys have been playing some of the players and taking the advice and utilizing it, and hopefully making some money, because that's obviously the bottom line here, is that we want to be able to learn and be able to be successful at playing DFS on a regular basis. And that's basically all my goal every single day, is to try to make the best possible lineups and give myself the best opportunity to be successful and possibly win some cash, because that's what the bottom line, that's what we all trying to do, is to try to win some bucks. And me, but being a GPP guy, I'm always trying to aim to get the big bucks. I play some cash games when I know I have a good solid lineup, I really feel good about a lineup. I've played them in a cash game, and there have been times, obviously, that I've made my money back and then some. So it's a good way to balance out your bankroll. But I like taking the risk. I like taking the risk every single night. Normally not for this particular thing, but because it is 100K, hey man, why not? I mean, where are you going to get a chance to win $100,000 in one night? If you could create the right lineup. And again, I don't believe somebody's going to win the 100K in this particular type of GPP tournament, but you never know. And who knows? It might be me. It might be one of my fellow followers. It might be one of you guys out there. So but that's basically it, guys. I mean, not a whole lot to go over today because of one game. Tomorrow, obviously, will be a full video like usual. I'll go over some stuff. I'll give you the best possible advice, give you my best possible line on which players are the best possible in the best possible spots, and of course some statistical stuff. And always like I always do. But again, if you decide to try any one of these 3 or 4 lineups that we created here for you, please comment down below. Let me know that you are gonna play them, and then we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we all make a few bucks tonight, and maybe we'll be all tied for first place and split maybe $100,000. Who knows? Maybe 20, 30, or 40 ways, and that'll still be a nice chunk of change. So but that's basically it. If you haven't subscribed, guys, hey, the subscribe button is right on the lower right hand screen. You don't have to go all the way to there. If you again like the video, I appreciate it. Comment down below. Let me know if you are playing one of the lineups. And again, God bless. Good luck tonight. And your boy Manny is out. I'll see you guys tomorrow.